Hey, this is Mo Lunsford at Union Grove Lumber Studios.
And this is the Shed Geek. We want to welcome you to today's episode. Hey guys, welcome back to part 2 of 2 of the Shed Geek marketing episode. Next question. I'm not even sure if we got anywhere there.
Oh gosh, yeah. I mean, we just went from, Charles Hutchins, the shed coach, and just kind of went on.
Yeah.
Trying to scoot on down here a little bit. I see a shout out from Charles to Matthew Black on my shed.
Charles Miller, yep.
Yep, see that. Okay, and then this one. This is interesting.
Okay.
Kenneth Bazin says, we are currently seeking sales lots and online sales for our local Amish manufacturer in Owingsville, Kentucky. We build greenhouses, deer blinds, and metal economy buildings. Desired areas within 100 miles of that zip code. Interesting. So ultimately, what they're asking for is to find some folks to help, sell their products.
Yeah, and not just sell, but sell online. We're seeking sales lots and, and online sales for our local Amish manufacturer. So that's a good example of, a lot of these Amish manufacturers, or primitive builders.
Yeah.
They don't really want to be drug into the world of, GA4 tags.
Yeah.
Boom. I love it when I say that. I sound so smart.
Yeah.
GA4 tags. Yeah. But, pixels and CRMs and SEO. What is all this stuff? I want to build a shed and get it out there. And you used to be able to just set it out by your out front, and people would buy them. And then we started taking them to other places, and then people started buying them from them. So we gave them a %. And next thing you know, like we've got all these people aggressively, because the online movement is still very available. So like there's people that like choose to just ignore it altogether.
Yeah.
Right. And like, it's not going to move forward. Okay. I think that's probably not the right approach, but one that we can get behind because brick and mortar has always been there. Just a brick and mortar approach itself isn't necessarily probably it can be successful, but maybe it's not the most successful you can be if you start to dive into creating a digital storefront. But so I think we're just in this weird time in history, not just in sheds, but in the world where people are, if you went to buy, I don't know, Dylan, what would you buy today only online?
I generally find my vehicles online.
Okay. So, which is rare. Maybe.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Anymore. But I mean, I'm trying to think of something like office supplies, something that's very, like you're not going to run to Office Depot. Yeah. You're only going to order that online.
Yeah. Best Buy they're just not going to have what we need.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're going to be able to create, like you're going to be able to get like varying opinions online and then research more deeply. So not everyone's buying their camera gear online, but not everybody's a professional videographer either.
That's right.
So they're satisfied with going and getting the Best Buy sales pitch.
Hey, have you ever heard of Newegg? Newegg is, all right, so if you wanted to build a computer, generally the people that want to build computers are major workstations, editing computers like here, and then gamers, people that game, which that's, there's a lot of gamers out there. So what Newegg does is you compare computers and computer parts and figure out which one's best. What if there was a shed comparison website?
Shed Egg?
It was like, Shed Egg. Like Dirksen versus Graceland versus Tough Shed versus Cook. That would be interesting.
Yeah, some of these guys would probably appreciate it. This is why creativity doesn't stop. The what's the saying? Was it Maya Angelou that said, creativity doesn't end. The more of it you use, the more of it you need. You know what I mean? Or something. And I'm probably butchering that terribly, but there's a space there waiting for someone to do that. Sure. There's a space there waiting for somebody to come out and like I hate to use the word influencer because I'm not a fan of it necessarily, but be an influencer in comparing sheds, just like people compare cameras.
Yeah.
I know that you subscribe to videos of guys who are like, okay, guys, we got the new Sony A6400,
100%.
and then we got the Samsung blah, 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 blah. And people are like, well, we want to show you just the differences in it. And all of a sudden, these people actually make a living doing this because next thing you know, people are like, oh, you got 1 million followers. We want you to talk about our shed or our camera or whatever. But I don't know if they can ever be like completely
it's interesting.
authentic. The shed industry is comprised of a diverse group of companies, but also a diverse group of shed sellers. Proven sales processes are the backbone of successful businesses, and their effectiveness cannot be overstated. At ShedU, our processes provide a structured framework that guides the shed sales professional through the various stages of the sales cycle, ensuring consistency and efficiency. By following a proven process, shed salespeople can better understand their customers' needs, build trust, and tailor their approach accordingly. Additionally, these processes are developed based on years of experience and extensive market research, incorporating best practices and strategies that have yielded positive results. Your Sheducation from Shed University will not only minimize guesswork, but also maximize the chances of closing deals and achieving sales targets. Our proven shed sales process will empower you or your shed sales team to work smarter, not harder, and lead to increased productivity, customer satisfaction, and business growth. It's time to take the guesswork out of your shed sales process. Invest in yourself and your team when you attend class at Shed University. Don't be tardy. Book your ticket now at sheduniversity.com for this year's session on January 23rd and 24th at the Knoxville Convention Center, just before the GSCB show. At Shed University, class is now in session. But yeah, moving on. WKM selling somebody selling a WKM trailer.
Oh gosh, how far
here
down
we go.
are you?
It's a pretty good ways down. Charmaine, once again, we're circling around to some sort of shed builder for our website. Can you tell me, in your opinion, which one you're using, why? Thanks for all of your assistance in advance. So these are questions to the people in there. They're not questions directly to us. We're just taking those questions and trying to talk about them here because how they affect.
That's a tough one to answer.
Yeah, well, that's because you have
what are your options here? So let's lay them out. You'll be able to.
Oh, I'm going to miss somebody.
We're going to start with Shed Pro.
Someone's
We've got
going to be
My
offended.
Shed. We've got 3D Sensei. They just dropped.
Yeah.
3D Fish.
Yeah. So 3D configurators. I mean, Shed app has a 3D configurator. My Shed has one. Shedverse. Trying to remember our conversation. Those guys are awesome. I believe, they've got a 3D configurator. But then there's some 3D configurators that are standalone. Yeah. And then there are some that have supporting roles, so to speak, sort of like a back end.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. So you're running into, and if anybody said in the Phil Falls, event at the Shed Expo, you would have kind of seen a comparison of Cal, has sort of like a back end kind of Colin, Sound Data Solution has sort of a back end, but they either build API or they build some kind of bridge with like a 3D configurator. Yeah. So, and then there's some that are more intense, like My Shed and Shed Suite and Shed App and Shedverse. And
can I speak to? I just want to have a word with all of the 3D shed building companies.
Idea Room. I want to make sure to mention that.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I'm terribly afraid I'm going to leave someone out and someone's going to be offended.
Let's Google them. So nobody missing out, and no rhyme or reason on the way that we order those or anything. Just thinking on the fly here, but I would love it if everybody makes it to where you have the option. If I'm on, Shed Geek, sheds.com and I click design my 3D shed builder or design a shed, and it takes me to the interface. I would love for each of y'all to have the option to where you can collect their information before they build it and also after it, and let your shed manufacturer customer choose which option. That would help us tremendously.
Why is that important to capture that information before?
I'm not going to mention the 3D shed builder because it doesn't matter, because it was just set up this way. Most of them are build the shed. Hopefully they submit it or save it. And if they save or submit it, then you get their information. If you get their information before they build the shed, you're going to have good, warm leads for your sales team to be, following up with all the time. So like there's some people that'll get, gosh, I heard a crazy one the other day, 6,000 3D shed builds a month. And out of 6,000, there were like 20 people that saved it or submitted it. That is wild. I mean, that's wild. Now, the opposite, if you collect it before, some people are worried that it's going to feel spammy or just too hard on the customer, and they don't want to come off that way. And I would tell you that the best thing that we've come up with that can kind of offset that would be for maybe the owner of the company to, have a little intro video before they fill out their information. Just pops up. They click Design My Shed. It pops up. Hey, I'm dealing with Shed Geek Sheds. Thank you so much for checking out our website. We're a local family-owned business. We have 7 employees, and we love what we do. If you don't mind, fill out this information. We're not going to harass you. We're not going to spam you. It's just so our sales team can follow up in case you had any issues in the shed, in the shed builder. Just something like that. Something warm, short, inviting. Fill out the basic information, name, phone number, email, zip code, and then they can go build their shed.
I mean, essentially what you're talking about is, qualifying the lead.
Yep.
And obviously if somebody goes through, fills it out, enters their information, clicks submit, very warm lead. Whereas they need or want
a shed.
A light warm lead might be someone who went on and at least went through 3/4 of it, but didn't put in their information. They, like you said, they still need a shed. So even if you're not necessarily cold calling and dialing up their number 15 days in a row, there's marketing comes back into that because of drip campaigns, right? You could not even actually be trying to influence the behavior of the buyer through calling and using sales practices or greasy sales practices, as some people might say.
Yeah.
Whether they are or not doesn't matter. You can create a drip campaign if you're using MailChimp or Go High Level or something. You know what I mean? Like what's some of the others?
Or Shed Suite Marketing.
Or Shed Suite Marketing.
Boom.
He'll appreciate that.
Hey, I mean, it simplifies things, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we don't have to hook everything up to HubSpot and all these different.
I did a podcast with Jason on Friday.
You did one? Or
no, I'm going to do one.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Very well.
I almost feel like you ought to hop on that one.
Yeah, well, I'm down.
All right. Introducing the Real Steel Portable Barn Door Press. You can use it to assemble your doors using truss connector plates to create strong, straight doors. The truss plates are kept in place by using our precision spring plate system. The same system is used on our truss press. Standard size truss plates are 2x4. Other options are available. Air cylinders are used to push the door together before the hydraulic cylinders push the plates into the door. This makes it easy to place your pieces of wood into the machine and assure a nice square door. 2 pins on either side of each of the vertical braces allow an easy and precise fit every time. There are 2 sets of 3 press stations on one rail. This allows for 3 stations to move in and out while remaining perfectly in line with each other. The stations also slide back and forth on each rail for different lengths of doors. You can make door widths ranging in size from 33 inches to 48 inches with a maximum length door of 76 inches. We can accommodate nearly all of your needs when it comes to different sizes. The hydraulic power unit has a 10-gallon steel hydraulic fluid tank with a 3,000 PSI 2-stage pump. The 2-stage hydraulic pump makes for a 4 to 5 second cycle time. An in-tank filter and a return line filter helps keep your hydraulic fluid clean and long-lasting. The electronic control panel allows you to operate all the air and hydraulic controls from a safe distance. A 2-handed safety system is used to provide a safe, efficient operating method. The unit is powered by a 3-phase 7.5 horsepower motor, complete with controls. A single-phase motor is optional as well. Contact us at realsteel.com or call Darren at 570-713-0665. Real Steel, production machines for the wood industries. So my thoughts are like, man, creating those drip campaigns, like I still get campaigns from Outdoor Options, our buddy Anthony.
Yeah.
I get them like once a week, you know what I mean? Because he's doing a good job creating his drip campaigns.
On Outdoor Options?
On Outdoor Options.
I'm about to go. I'm going to go sign up right now. Anthony, I got you, bro.
I constantly get his emails, and I'm always like, I'm probably not going to buy a shed from him, not because he doesn't do a good job, but he's 8 hours away. But I love seeing his drip campaigns because it kind of keeps you like in that headspace of like seeing what people are doing. And that's the thing. You're trying to influence that behavior by constantly being a touch point.
Sure.
You're trying to so when you capture that information on 3D Configurator, that's why we feel like that's important.
100%.
And I wish we could talk about the conversion rate on 3D Configurators, but we're going to leave that for you to call us and hopefully work with us in some capacity, because then we can maybe add some value.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't have time to go through 100, 900 leads a month, don't call us. Just don't call.
Yeah. Yeah. Is that a sales pitch? I'm sorry. I was looking through here. We need to get you a gold chain and like a button-down shirt.
I always have my
look
little
out.
chain on.
Look out.
Watch out.
All right. So, any Gerald Rhodes, any experts in here on up to date on the legalities of a Facebook giveaway? Was reading recently that they may be restricting what rules you can have for giveaways. Is that anything you've ever run across?
I'd have to read it again because I'm sub paying attention.
Gotcha. You're signing up for a newsletter. Well, you just tell me.
All right, I'm scooting over.
You tell me when you're
All
ready.
right, where's it at?
So it's quite a ways down, but Gerald Rhodes.
Oh, I see it. Any experts in here that are up to date on the legalities of a Facebook giveaway? Was reading recently where they may be restricting what rules you could have for giveaways. That's interesting. I mean, I can't say that we've run a ton of giveaway campaigns. However, we have done a handful. We've got one running right now for Irvin for some portable buildings giveaway, that pellet grill. I guess I would even have to have an idea of what he's talking. I could name some items that are just going to be flagged. But I've never had to go into their, what do you call that? I'm drawing a blank. Just their glossary, their database of compliance, like ad compliance on giveaways. I guess there's never been anything controversial. And I'll tell you why. So Meta breaks up things in they call them special ad categories. So you've got anything that's for employment, housing, and finances. Anything that has to do with those, they limit the options of the people you can market to. You can't get very, very, very specific. It's like I was saying on the phone call with Irvin, when we got a rejected ad for them thinking that he's selling, modular homes, they reject it and they're like, hey, this looks like you're selling houses. You need to add this to the special housing category. And that limits, you can't target age, you can't target interest. The only thing you can do is target demographically from 18 to 65 plus, and that's it. And you don't get to target, who's actually interested in what you're selling.
Your sort of internal knowledge of the internal workings of Meta, Facebook, and Instagram, that's really cool. But where do you line up on like Google ads in comparison to like Meta ads? What I've seen some conversation on here, and we can probably find one to like validate our conversation here. But like, I know a lot of people who don't use Google ads. Yeah. What comes to mind for you as a marketer? Instantly?
It's a tremendous difference. Meta and Google are very different platforms to market on. We would generally say that Facebook starts off as a cold lead. Why? Because if I go to my news feed right now, I'm scrolling. I'm not getting on here to look at this. I just got hit with an ad. Truist. Isn't that the new bank here in Paducah?
It is.
Truist, yeah. I just got hit with an ad from Truist. Well, I didn't get on here to get sold to or for someone to try to pitch a product. I got on here to see what my mom ate for lunch. Not really, but that's what you see. Generally politics or something. But anyway, you get sold to. But if it interests you enough, and it should interest you because you've done some sort of research in that field, or else they're bad targeting. Like, not long ago, I got hit by a Facebook ad from a shed company in Wisconsin, and I wanted to text them and be like, hey, you're wasting money. You need to pull in your radius. You're like targeting the whole United States. But anyway, so you get on Facebook, you don't get on there to be sold to. So it's a colder lead, but it's cheaper. So you can warm them up and you can keep retargeting them to the point at the time where they are looking and interested in buying. Google ads, people are going on Google to find what they are looking for, right? So they're going on there to find what they're looking for. So they would be considered a warm lead. That's why we're not necessarily showing up in front of people off, just behaviors and interests, but also keywords and just demographics, right? So they're very much different. Google's generally more expensive because they're searching for what you're selling. I mean, if you know how to prepare it, but Google Ads is very robust, and there's, you could market to people on the side of websites like banners, YouTube pre-roll. Google owns YouTube. So there's so many different ways that you can market on there. I think when people say Google Ads, they generally just think of like, I'm on google.com, sheds near me, Paducah, Kentucky, right? And then, popping up number one. Like, that's just one small facet of what Google does, Google Ads do. So I guess that would be my short breakdown of Google versus Meta.
That's good.
Yeah.
Have you ever had a customer ask you about how to supply power to their shed? Do you sell electrical kits as an upsell for your sheds currently? Do you want an easy, no-hassle option to offer for your customers when they want to add electric to their sheds? Check out EcoEthics Solar. EcoEthics Solar is looking for shed manufacturers and shed dealers who want to be able to provide a solar electric option to their line of sheds. With EcoEthics Solar, you can purchase the Sunsaver, a solar product specifically designed with the shed owner in mind. Want to offer a larger product that can operate a full tiny home? At EcoEthics Solar, they have the necessary product, training, and capacity to meet your customers' needs. Installation for the Sunsaver is simple and takes just 45 minutes. You can even install it right there on your sales lot or at the manufacturing facility. EcoEthics Solar even provides hands-on in-person training if necessary. Plus, they will provide you with video tutorials and handouts with specific installation instructions that keeps adding a solar-powered electrical system to your shed fast and simple. In many cases, the end user can even perform the installation once the shed is delivered to their home. If you are interested in purchasing a unit for display and then drop shipping your orders, or even ordering multiple units to have available as you build, contact my friends at EcoEthics Solar at 336-250-1284 or email sales@ecoethicsolar.com. I saw something on here that I kind of wanted to. He's a previous guest and a friend of the show. Well, what do you think about the marketing? I can't even remember the company now that did like the Donna Kelsey. Whenever Travis Kelsey was
I don't remember who it was. It was a shed company.
Yeah.
Oh, it's down there. Here, I can find it.
How cool was that though? That was good marketing, right?
That was good marketing. I think I can find that. It's crazy. What's Taylor Swift? I couldn't remember her name.
Yeah, Swifty.
Yeah. All right. I think I found it. Okay. It was Palmetto Shed Company in Lexington, South Carolina. And their post got 32.6 thousand likes, 721 shares. Yeah, but that was very interesting.
Really smart.
Yeah,
Whoever was doing that
100%.
on the marketing killed it. That was a great job.
That was a great job.
Yeah,
I enjoyed it.
Oh gosh. I mean, there's a lot of questions that end up on here around like rent to own, around a lot of things that are shed related, but
Sure.
Phil had one on here that was talking about marketing. And I lost it because I turned my phone sideways and
All right.
technology stinks, but I'll see if I can find it.
One thing I'd like to address, sometimes when we onboard clients, they're like, hey, if they don't have an idea of their budget, and we have a very simple recommendation that you should be, you should have somewhere between 4 to 6% of your gross revenue should be put towards marketing. And of course you can get either aggressive, really shouldn't go below that in my opinion, especially to the economical season that we're moving into right now, right? It's not 2020 to 2022. Things are changing. And
there's no government money. There's no, like I'm calling this the old normal.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, how everybody was like the new normal. And I was like, no, we're going to the old normal. And the old normal is you actually have to work for sales.
Yeah.
We don't just have government money that's free. And
sure.
And it's kind of exposing some guys that got into the industry during the time where the getting was good.
Yeah.
It's like, unfortunately, that's not the norm.
Yeah.
So like you need to, like reevaluate and assess yourself based off of the old normal.
Yeah.
But
depending on how long you've been in there, it's like what were you doing before 2020? But to leeway off of the ad budget thing, we get some customers. Let's just say we have multiple customers in Montana and Idaho, And, if somebody were to ask, well, let's just say this is my budget. Do you have a shed client that has that same budget? And it's like, I do, but I don't. I mean, I'll tell you what their numbers are, but like you got to look at population density. Like somebody up in Carmi, Illinois, or you know what I mean, just Pope County, Illinois, selling sheds, way different than Nashville.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Murfreesboro,
Yeah.
or outside of Atlanta. Like it's a different ball game when you look at the population of a radius within 100 miles. And it's like, so it's that money's not necessarily going to convert the same.
LA County has 14 million people, which is more than multiple states.
That's crazy.
You know what I mean? So whenever you start thinking about, like, I don't know if anybody sells sheds in LA County, my guess is they can't because of HOA and everything else. Right. So, but yeah, just in general, like there's still a mix of like, I know it's
56 minutes.
It's crazy how fast it goes.
It
dude.
is.
Like,
yeah.
I keep losing it every time I get to it. Like I pick up my phone and it goes sideways. I really wanted to get this question on there that Phil had asked. Phil Music, he had
Here, just bro.
yeah,
Look.
and I know,
Okay,
but I thought he was pretty close, so you'll probably find it before me.
What did it have to do with? Oh, I see it. Is there a company that specializes?
that's
okay.
it.
So Phil Music said, is there a company that specializes in shed marketing that provides a service of such? I'm more or less looking for advertising, ad design, maybe commercials. I have some creativity, but that's mainly with wood. So, it's funny, which is why I need help with the advertising part. The wood shop is almost finished, and I will be building most of the time unless sales pick up, then building in free time. Benches, picnic tables, gazebos, horse shelters, etc.
So, like, what I kind of want to address, and maybe that Phil's not in this category specifically, but gosh, at some point, I almost hate to like talk about this because, like, I don't want to say it offers some type of advantage, but I want to talk about like franchising your shed company because and people say franchising. Oh no, you're scaring me with like all of these big thoughts of what franchising looks like for McDonald's and Subway and what we know it to be. No, here's what happens a lot of times. And how many times do we see this? And maybe we'll have to edit some of this, but I just feel like this is very valuable to talk about. How many times do we see this where like a shed company starts, especially if you are a Anabaptist shop owner and you see some wild success? And you might ask yourself, are there manufacturers out there that are doing 10 and 15 million that are Anabaptists without a website? Yes. Mm-hmm. They've seen, because they're really good at doing business. So, and they can continue that, but in my opinion, you're somewhat, I know we're going to be at a disagreement possibly, and maybe there's culture that separates us in this conversation, but not being able to go to the next level with tools available, like creating a digital presence and storefront and website and Google ads and meta ads and web, like video campaigns and all of these other things. I just kind of feel like what happens a lot of times, even, and I'm not picking on Anabaptists by any means, this could be anybody, but they might say, well, we bring you free inventory. We're a consignment location. You go out and create whatever website you want.
Sure.
So let's talk about that, and we'll just end on that note. But so I'm trying to wrap my head around this whole conversation. So imagine a sense where you're trying to brand XYZ buildings, and my apologies if there's an XYZ buildings out there, okay? Imagine you're trying to brand XYZ buildings, and then you have 25 dealer locations.
There is an XYZ because whenever you well,
let's use Boobaloos.
Okay.
Has anybody got a Boobaloos? How about
Praise
that?
the Lord. Let's
go. Let's go. So Boobaloos is trying to get his sheds out there, and nobody wants to like franchise that. And what I mean by that is they say, hey, John, you're dealer number one. And John's like, yeah, well, we're vinyl record sheds of, Argentina. Yeah. And all of a sudden you're like, and what do you guys sell? We sell Boobaloo sheds.
Yeah.
Think about the branding that like the customer has to get past. This is why we say they buy from the customer, because they don't buy your brand in most cases anyway.
Sure.
But like what some guys have figured out is to franchise
100%
their shed industry, instead of saying, we don't really want to have a website, or we don't really want to be involved with Google ads and SEO and CRMs. So, but you as a dealer can go do it. And then next thing you know, this dealer's footing the cost for 3D configurators, a website. They're trying to create SEO. Your dollars would be so much more valuable if you could franchise and put all of it into one site. And then it doesn't eliminate a dealer from having some level of autonomy.
Sure.
Because they can still post on that.
Yeah.
They can still have control of that. But the SEO dollars are going, they can be more targeted instead of you spending it out of your earnings as a dealer.
Yeah.
The company could actually do a top-down model.
Yeah.
I mean, you're just the dog wagging the tail.
The shed industry is it's not normal.
It's fragmented. That's I use that word all the time. Maybe some people say I overuse it, but that's a perfect example of there's two different models here. This company over here is like, we own all of our lots. This company over here is like, they're all independent dealers. Well, if they're independent dealers, then they're 1099
and they're independent businesses.
And they have autonomy. So like, you don't, but now you're trying to get them to push your brand out.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And like they're branding their own vinyl records of Argentina instead of Boobaloo Sheds. Imagine having Boobaloos in 25 different areas. So now you become Boobaloos of Argentina.
That's
Boobaloos of Paducah.
Sure.
Boobaloos of Vienna, wherever you are. Doesn't it just make more sense not just to maintain that autonomy as a shed manufacturer in your website, but also in your YouTube channel, in your social media feeds? Oh. And like those people can still be a part of it. They just don't, they're not branding your Boobaloo Sheds 25 different ways.
Get ready for a sales revolution. Introducing Making Sales Simple, a complete online training course that unleashes the power of sales mastery, anytime, anywhere, on any device. Designed to transform anyone into a shed selling success, Making Sales Simple guides you through the entire sales cycle, from the moment a customer steps onto the lot all the way through the crucial art of closing the deal. But that's not all. Our course equips you to expertly handle follow-ups, how to advertise your lot on social media, and supercharge your sales like never before. Enroll your sales team in the game-changing Making Sales Simple training course and witness a remarkable boost in sales right on the lot. Do you have a large team of salespeople? Manage and monitor each one through the sleek admin panel. Track their progress, dive into quiz results, and ensure they're not just learning, but mastering their newfound sales skills in real-world scenarios. Join our happy customers and witness your shed lots transform into thriving hubs. Sign up your entire team today. Unlock big savings with the code SGSAVE, because your team's success deserves nothing less.
This is how SEO works. SEO, if my landing page of my website gets a lot of traffic, it then transfers domain authority and value to the next page, the cottage shed page, right? Because it knows that this page trusted, and it goes down, and it's the same thing. If we have Boobaloo, the one's doing great, and they just great branding, make you feel good, draws customers, just
builds consumer confidence. It builds confidence in the algorithm of Google.
Yep.
Because isn't that what Google's ultimately looking for?
What's that?
Like looking for, like it's looking for the most authentic search result.
Absolutely.
Possible.
100%.
I mean, Shed Hub.
Yeah.
I mean, just giving them a shout out. That's why they've done a phenomenal job.
Sure.
You want to know how good of a job they've done or how good of a job you're doing in comparison to a competitor?
Yeah.
Call Dylan up. He'll just get you on a screen share.
Yeah, that's
and
what
boom,
we do.
You just start throwing in different shed companies and you can start to see where you rank. Yeah. I mean, you'll see Shed Hub. Trust me, you're going to see them up there. And this isn't a commercial for them. I'm just saying you'll see it up there.
And if anyone ever does want just an audit of their stuff, we would love to do it and just do it live. I will show you everything that you've got. I know what your website's built with, who built it, how's it run. Are those plugins old? Do you have the right tags? I can see how much site visitors you're getting. I can generally see how much revenue you make. Almost everything.
Me and you have fun with this because sometimes we'll take some of the industry names and start to plug them in.
Yeah.
And like we really feel like we could just like make a marketing pitch to them, but we might not even get through the front door, huh?
Yeah.
But it is what it is. And then all the, like, we're so, when you talk about the fragmentation of the industry beyond that, think about it. We've got shed builders who own software. We got shed builders who own RTO. We got RTO companies that own software. We have, like, this is why I just came to the conclusion of myself. I was like, I'm going to control my narrative. Like, we're going to be in the shed industry and we're going to create value.
Yeah.
Right? We're going to create value. We're going to create transparency. Like, you're going to know who we are.
Yeah.
Like, and you're going to know what you're receiving whenever you talk to us.
I think that's it's so simple. I know we got to quit, but it's like, if we have a client, and they're just, they're in the middle of Kansas and, they do okay, but they hire us and we just don't knock it out of the park. Like, we just don't do a good job. Could be all kinds of reasons. Could be economical, could be location, could be that we don't know the demographic.
Like,
and
you could get them 1,000 leads and they follow up on none.
Well, yeah, that
happens.
That's always a side. But can't we just like shake hands and we tell you, hey, man, I promise you we did our best, and I'm sorry we couldn't figure it out.
Yeah.
But I promise this works in a lot of other places.
Yeah.
But I'm sorry I couldn't make it. Can't that just be normal?
I would. Well, if it isn't, maybe it could start being. You know what I'm saying? Like, somebody's got to set the example. Somebody's got to set the trend. Maybe it sounds like we're dogging on the industry too much today. So for those who turned us off, maybe they don't like that. But I suspect.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I expect that most people experience a lot of the same things we did, but through business. But yeah, I mean, the best thing to do is just walk away and just kind of be like, hey, man, gave it our good old sophomore effort.
Yeah.
Did the best I could. Give it the old college try. You know what I mean? Hey, well, like, this is all of our knowledge. This is what we have. Yeah. This is what we see working in other places. Yeah. Yeah. Why is it not working in your situation? Couldn't tell you.
Yeah.
Couldn't tell you. So, like, but we haven't experienced that so far. I'm going to say, on the record, this isn't a brag. This is me trying to build consumer confidence, know the difference. Maybe 15 clients right now.
I'd have to check.
Yeah, 12 to 15.
Yeah, and all of them using a plethora of different services. Yeah. Like, we have probably 3 companies that work with other marketing companies that they've just been with, and just different things, 3 or 4. Yeah. And I think that's cool. And defining those marketing companies is sometimes, are they really marketing? Because that's one of the biggest problems I think we have is, like, because people work in so many different fields. Mm-hmm. Like, for instance, if you're a 3D configurator, but you do Google ads and Facebook ads, are you a marketer? I mean, I'm asking you. You're asking me?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you can have other skill sets.
I'm just saying, are you in marketing? I'm not dogging anyone who's doing that, because, like, we partner with.
Well, I do
people.
think I do think now. I tend to view marketing.
We're never going to get off.
I know. I tend to view marketing as the kind of the services you provide and thing, but it is much bigger than that. It's like there's other things to keep. It's like, how are you branded? Your logo. How does that make you feel? What's the flow of your website? Yeah. Why is this attractive? And then making that where it feels the same on every asset that any potential consumer could see. I mean, that is marketing. What does your brand say? So, like a 3D configurator and what you use and what it looks like, that's part of your marketing. No doubt.
And typically what happens is you have a 3D configurator, like I know people who have literally called 3D configurator companies because we've had the conversations and they've been like, we want your service. And they're like, great. Like, how can we get in touch with your web builder? And it's like, well, we don't have a website. And it's like, you can't have a 3D configurator if you don't have a website. So the next thing you know, the leg bone's connected to the foot bone, right? Because the next thing you know, a conversation is like, well, if you're going to have a website, you might as well have it seen. Mm-hmm. And they're going to be like, well, what do you mean? Like, well, you need to probably create some SEO. And it's like, well, tell me about that. And it's like, well, there's on page, off page. You know what I mean? You got to get into this conversation. And they're like, well, what's a better way to be seen if we're not actually, trending or indexing organically? And it's like, well, you could always do paid ads. Yeah. And they're like, what does that mean? And you're like, well, you run these Google ads.
It's
and
a lot.
Next thing you know, you're at the top of the list. They're like, oh, that sounds great. Yes, you keep spending money, you'll be at the top. And they're like, well, I don't want to keep spending money. How can I get to the top without it? And it's like, right. So now that's another conversation. Yeah. So
there's billions and billions of websites, and you're fighting. Google's crawling billions of websites, and you're fighting in your niche to be number one on that. Like, it's a task. That is a task.
Yeah.
You know, depending on where you're at.
I just saw a commercial the other day for DuckDuckGo on national TV.
Really?
Yeah. It blew me out of the water. And I was like, you know, obviously they use like Google as a backup, even though they dog Google openly on their commercials because their commercials say we don't track your history and your, like, we're not, you know, Cambridge Analytica, and we're not like, you know, Uncle, we're not like, you know, Uncle Sam over your shoulder all the time. And it's like, right, but they use Google as a default. So like, I'm going to be curious to see where these other things go. Like, obviously you had Bing, but outside of Google, where do you go?
Well, so you do have like voice search. You've got Siri, so you've got to see what Siri hooked up to, which is Yelp, if you did or didn't know. And then you've got Alexa and voice search there. So like there are other things because those pull from different search companies. But yeah, generally a computer's either you're either going to use Google or you're going to use Bing. Like Microsoft, if you buy a new Microsoft computer and you get on there and you open Microsoft Edge and you're like, ugh, I don't like this. And then you try to download Chrome, it pops up. It's like, please don't.
Yeah.
We are better.
Use us instead?
Yeah. It just keeps giving you, please don't do it. We just use us. And Bing just looks like, but you need to have it on. I mean, what we would recommend is like creating backlinks. That's kind of the first step in SEO. And generally that is also doing directory work.
So the knee bone's connected to the hip bone.
It's all
backlinks.
connected,
Let's talk about backlinks. Yeah. Let's don't. And let's like focus on.
We probably need to end this.
Yeah. Let's focus on the reality that, we'll do some editing or whatever to try to shorten this down to get the most value for the listener. But this is why, can you see whenever a guy who's not tech minded is like, I just want to build sheds.
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand. Like that's your craft. That's what you do.
Well, you build them. We'll build your brand.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you know, just to be a trusted, you know, name in the industry. We've built a good brand with Shed Geek. I don't say that arrogantly. I say it with humility. Thank you, God, for the opportunity. Don't ever let me lose it. I'm just saying we've proven our process.
Yeah.
To some extent. So with that being said, like, if you just want to build sheds and you want a trusted partner, call us. It's that simple. Yeah. I hope we added value to your day, but these are conversations we have every single day. And like, honestly, I can't have these every day. You have these every day because I'm usually on the road. I'm podcasting.
Sure.
You know what I mean? I'm doing something else. This is like, there's so much credit that needs to go to you and your team for all that you're doing for Shed Geek Marketing. We appreciate you. We look forward to long-term opportunities in us working together, and that's what I want. And it's really seen you come a long way since day one when you were thinking about leaving your logging job and buying a camera at a pawn shop.
Yeah.
That you have far superseded my expectations. And that's an example of what God can do in people's life whenever they're just obedient.
Yeah.
Thankful to be part of it and to watch you, man, and just still wish you nothing but success.
I appreciate it. Don't I? One quick last thing.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I mentioned
we need one more thing.
Few of our clients earlier, and I just felt like I just left people out. So I'm not even going to say their names, but just like everybody who's been working with us, Rylan, Justin, Matt, Edwin, Marvin, all of them. I just, Jason, I don't know. I just appreciate y'all. It's been great. And I hope I didn't leave anyone out. I'm opening a document on my website, on my folders and in my computer on my mind. And it's just like, I just can't see them all.
Let's go. Let's double it. Let's have 30 by the end of 2024.
Sure. Well,
can we do that?
We could probably bring on the business, but we are very honest if we are, if we get so many people wanting to onboard, I'll push it back. Hey man, we need a few weeks.
Yeah.
Just because we don't want to overwork our team and do a great job.
Welcome in the industry.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, that's better than saying we can do it and not being able to do it.
Absolutely.
Like,
not willing to do that.
Yeah. People need that. So like, I would far rather set realistic expectations and execute than to set unrealistic expectations and rely on your grace.
Yeah. Like I'm like a week behind on a website and it just freaks me out.
Yeah.
I don't like it. I just don't like it.
As Dylan Street would say, praise the Lord.
Praise the Lord.
Praise the Lord.
Here we're done. We're done here.
Yeah.
Thank you for listening to today's episode here at the Union Grove Lumber Studios.